Thank you for joining us for Dove Talks. I'm Koya Tompkins. Today we're going to be talking with a very dear friend of CVIC who's going to share her story of resilience and how she is using the power of her voice to help others who don't have a voice. So Yvonne, you are now a member of our board of directors, which you've been doing for a couple of years, but can you tell us a little bit about how you came to get acquainted with CVIC initially, because you've also been a client?
The homes that I was raised in, some of the different things that I endured as being a foster child or a ward of the state. And there was a lot of traumatic things that I had went through. So I endured domestic relationships. But the last one was when I was introduced to CVIC because I was ready to leave the relationship. And I took my children. I didn't know where I was going. And then I remembered CVIC. So me and my children went to CVIC and we got the help that we needed.
And I'm just so not only impressed by your writing, but just the courage it took to get a lot of that down about what happened to you as a youngster and then later on. But do you mind telling me about why you decided to write it?
One of the reasons why I decided to write it, it was more from a spiritual aspect, because I had given my life to Christ, and it was one of the things I did out of obedience, from the Lord telling me to write it. And it wasn't about becoming famous, it wasn't about making 1 million book sales, but I found that it was about healing. It was very tough. In that first book that I have, In the Hands of an Abuser, it was only the first 18 years of my life. It was about healing. I didn't realize how much unforgiveness, anger, and bitterness that still resounded within me. And I needed to deal with that in order to move forward and look at things from a healthy perspective. I wanted to attend one of the tours at the CVIC, and I did bring a copy of my book. And I wanted to share with them how I had progressed and just give them a copy of my book and just kind of see what was needed, where I could help, and kind of give back. That is how I came to CVIC in that time.
It was so powerfully written. Like I said, I think it was a 2 a.m. read for me because I just couldn't put it down. And I just really admired the courage you took to write that down. And I think you brought up such a great point about that you didn't realize you hadn't worked through this trauma, because that's a lot of what we deal with at CVIC and that healing portion of our Save for Tomorrow's work. We have safety, healing, and education. And the healing is really a nice bridge for folks that are trying to get through that. And sometimes they don't realize it until they're well into adulthood. How can we get access to this book?
It's available on Amazon. It's on Goodreads. You can pretty much Google it, and it's on numerous sites. It's even being sold internationally.
Oh, awesome. You have been just such an incredible support for us, Yvonne, not only CVIC, but really a lot of different social issues that have surfaced throughout the past couple of years I've known you. And you certainly stepped up when we asked for some help this past legislative session. Can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to testify during the legislative session on a couple of the bills that we pursued?
It's easy to write a letter, it's easy to share, and it's so impersonal. But when I was able to stand there and share my story boldly, bravely, and make eye contact with each one of them, I just felt like they really needed to have a personal a view or a personal aspect, and to actually see somebody in front of them that this is who I am today because of this organization and because of the help that was available.
We had a number of legislators tell us that it was really your testimony that helped them understand not only the severity of what we're dealing with, but why it needs more funding. So your courage is really helping us on a state level. So I just want to thank you again, personally and publicly, for that, because I don't know that it wouldn't have had that much impact without a personal story on it. I'm curious what it's meant to you to have that experience, to give back after going through some really traumatic times.
I'm just looking for the next thing that we can do to change the world. It's just who I am. It's who God created me to be.
Well, I appreciate you listening to the Almighty in these situations, and I think it will have a profound impact on I know it will for our clients.